Hello guys, my name is Steven Sinchimba, a passionate poultry farmer. Right now I'm in my poultry and today I've got a very important topic that we need to talk about, and today we want to demonstrate how you make your homemade drinkers using 20-liter containers. If you take a look there, those are my 20 liters containers that I made my homemade drinkers. I made them myself. So I want to just demonstrate because I've been asked by several people how I want to know how you made those drinkers. Okay, of course it's a very good thing, like somebody needs to make their own drinkers, and these drinkers, I'm telling you guys, they are helpful because they are 20 liters. So just imagine, on my flock I only have 320 liters, which means I only have 60 liters at once. I put them in. So I'll just demonstrate how I made these drinkers, then I'm sure people will follow up, then they'll be able to understand and they'll learn how to make their own drinkers. So I'll demonstrate using this small bottle, this small container. This should be a 5-liter container. It's the one I'll use to demonstrate how I made those homemade drinkers. So what you need, of course, I'll use this for demonstration purposes, but what you're going to need is a 20-liter container for you to make these homemade drinkers. So this I'll use for demonstration purposes. So you need a container, 20-liter container. Secondly, you need this. I'm sure somebody will be asking, hey, what's that? You know, this we'll use this as a closure where we're going to drill a hole where water will be coming out. So this rubber usually comes from the vaccine bottles, so which is a win-win for you, which means you've saved yourself for keeping these bottles and the closure, which is usually on top here. So you need this, you need only this. I just wanted to show you where this comes from. This comes from, because people be asking me, where did you get the seal you used to seal on the hole? So I've just showed you, it comes from the vaccine bottles. Secondly, what you need is a small knife. You can use a bigger knife, but for me I use a small knife. So another thing you need is this is a plate. Of course everybody knows this plate. If you don't know this plate, then I don't know, because we use these plates to to feed on the birds when they are still small. We put feed in here so that the birds can eat from here. But now, since the birds have grown and we can't use this, usually we keep them out from the beds. Then we keep them, then we wait for the beds. When we have a new batch, then we start using them. But this time around, it's gonna be good for you and you're gonna benefit, and this is gonna be your multi-use. So this, you need this, a plate. Of course you need a plate. So the main reason you need this plate is because you don't have to start going out there and look for the dish where you're going to put your homemade drinker. So the alternative you can use is these drinkers. So these are not drinkers, these plates. So I'll demonstrate, and I'll be very informative. Like, I'll give the information that you need to have. So number one, you get your bottle, you get your container, your 20-liter container. Okay, so you don't drill anywhere, because if you want, you would drill on top, which means you have a loss on it. So all you need first is you need to know the length here. You need to know here, okay, where is my water supposed to reach? So you will measure. So the advice I can give is, like, you need half of this distance. You need half of this distance, which means you measure, okay, half of this is here. Okay, so but the advice I can give is, when you get, you measure. Well, okay, this is top, so which means you need to go lower. You need to go down here. That's where you're going to drill your hole. So you will drill your hole from here. You drill your hole, you drill. When you are done drilling your hole, you make sure you try this and make sure this fits. Okay, so first try to drill one hole. When this fits, that means it's okay, you are good. So when you the main reason where you need this, when you finish drilling, you put this in. Then the second thing, you need a reed on top, of course, because when you don't have a reed on top here, when you remove this from here for water to start filling up this, water will just continually come out because air is coming in here. When air comes into this container, water will just be coming out throughout, then it will be disaster in your poultry. So when you sow this, you pour water in. Of course, you put water in until I don't know which level you want, then you close. So sometimes I will need to explain this. Sometimes, you know, when you close like this, sometimes the lids, they are not always intact, they don't close up completely. So for the other reasons, you put a plastic, then you close, so that you make sure air doesn't come in here, because when air gets in here, it won't stop, the water won't stop coming out from here. It's a simple scientific statement. Water always comes out when air is coming in. So that's why when you close here, when you open, at first water will come rapidly. So you need to, when water comes rapidly, at some certain point it will start coming out very not in a rapid way. It will change the force. It will start coming out little by little. When that hole you've drilled here is closed up with water, water stops coming out because there's no air coming in here. Because when air comes in here, water comes out. So what usually happens is that when they drink, when the chickens drink here, when the water reaches to where the hole is, then the hole is exposed to air. Air will come in, then water will start coming out. That is when the chickens have drunk the whole water. It will automatically fill itself because the air has come in. Then it will come out. It will start coming out. Then when it reaches again to this point, it will close up because there's no air coming in. So it will close up. Then again they will drink until the water will be dropping from here until down. So if you drill one hole, sometimes it doesn't work out. If it doesn't work out with one hole, drill another hole, you put it somewhere else. But when drilling the other hole, you make sure there's like a small distance, whereby there's a distance like this, but again with where you are drilling it, the other one needs to be a little bit on top, the other one down, so that you make sure air is able to come in from the other one, so that here it can comes out. Then when it closes up, it closes up everything. So this is all you need. At this point, I'm even done explaining. So this is all you need. So there's a lot of benefits of you having your homemade drinkers. You know, we buy these drinkers at 95 kwacha, which is almost 100 kwacha. So you save yourself about maybe I can say you save yourself maybe about 60 kwacha or 50. It's not, because these 25 liters are not expensive like about 50. They're about 45 kwacha when you go to Soweto or anywhere else. You find them 45 kwacha. If they're expensive, you find them at 50. Which means instead of you buying a drinker for 100 kwacha, you save yourself some money. Then you are able to make your own made drinkers. And you know, this is the way I made my drinkers. So just follow up, make sure you follow the way I made all these holes. I had to drill. Make sure I drilled at the level where I need the water to be reaching. You don't need water to reach up to the top here. All you need is water to reach half of this, like half here, just half. Then water comes in here. The chickens are able to eat, to drink properly here. So you've got another reason to use these plates. When you buy them, you don't just have to use them for the chicks only. You can use this plate for the chickens to drink. So you can use the ones which are nice, the containers. That's why you've seen those are white. They are more like white, but yeah, they are transparent. You are able to see inside where water has reached. So you're able to tell, like, okay, maybe you want to go somewhere. You need to check your water, like, okay, I need to move from there to there. Okay, I'll spend some hours there. So you'll be checking. When you just look, wow, if you see my drinker from there, I'm able to see where the level of water has reached because it's colorless. So if you get another color, that means you need to be you need to check from the weight, like, okay, water is still there. But for me, these which are like this color, I'm able to see where water has reached. Then I'm able to tell, like, okay, water won't last long, let me put more water. So guys, make sure you I'm sure you've learned something and you've understood, and you are able to make your homemade drinkers. This is a very simple demonstration, and this is very helpful. It's gonna benefit you, but make sure this lid, you know, I found challenges with some containers, but I made sure I found a solution, because every problem has a solution. So I just use a plastic. I'm sure there's those people who used to fetch water maybe from a longer distance. You know, sometimes, you know, you can understand, like, okay, lids don't usually close up like completely. That's why we used to put plastic to make sure it is fully closed up. It's the same with these drinkers. You need to put a plastic so that you make sure it's intact, it's fully closed. There's no water that can come out. There's no at this demonstration, we don't need hair to come in here, because if hair comes in here, water will be coming out without stopping, non-stop. So you need to make sure this is closed. You put a plastic to guarantee yourself, like, okay, it's for completely closed. So guys, those are the things you need: a knife, your 20-liter container, make sure the lid is intact, this closure, this is very important, and also your plates. And sometimes maybe you find like you've lost this, or maybe you don't have this. You can make your own closure that you can use to close up here. And sometimes if you use a bigger closure, these closures, when you drill a bigger hole, make sure when you drill a bigger hole, it's even easy for water to come out and to make sure to close up. But sometimes there's always a challenge when you are using these small ones, because these are small. So when you close, sometimes you find like if you've drilled only one hole, you find like water will finish up in the plate without automatically filling up until you shake it, because sometimes they take some time for them to get used to taking out water here. So sometimes when you drill a bigger one, it's much easier. But if you drill a small one, sometimes you need two. But as for me, I only use one. It's the one which works for me. But the moment I was using the buckets, I tried to use the buckets, but I had a challenge which was not solved. You know, with the buckets, it's big. The lid is big. So you find like you can't put a plastic, at least with a small lid like this on the container, you are able to put a plastic to close up so that it is closed completely. But with the, you know, with the buckets, it's a big hole which is there on top, you understand? So when closing up, you can't put any plastic, because plastics are small. So I had to find a challenge, like hair was coming in because the lid wasn't closing up intactly. So that's when I now try to make my own drinkers using the containers, and they are working perfectly well. I have no problem with them. You know, sometimes you find like maybe during the night you need to wake up when your drinkers are small. You know, you don't need to stuff your beds without water in the porch. As you know that chickens can't run without water. It's for more than 7 hours. They can go for 2 days without feed, but water, they need to drink water. So during the night, I don't even wake up if the beds have grown like the way they've grown. But during the time when I'm brooding them, I usually use my small drinkers, those small drinkers for small beds. I don't use this until when they reach about 3 weeks. Sometimes when they are about 10 days to 11 days, I start using these, because they're able to drink from here, then they can drink freely. So guys, that's the way. That's how you make your homemade drinkers. And I'm sure everybody who's going to watch and who's watching is able to understand the way I've made my drinkers. Using this just small demonstration, people are able to understand, and they'll be able to make their own drinkers. And make sure, if you haven't understood what I've just demonstrated here, you are free to ask me in the comment section. Ask me, how did you make them? I failed this part and this part. Then I'll be able to give you more information how you can overcome that challenge that you are having. But I'm sure I've just demonstrated properly very well, because it's very simple. You know, some other things, we just need to save some money. You make sure, like, you know, you have like a 50 kwacha, at least it's in your pocket. You've made your own drinkers. Maybe for your big pot, you just buy You know, these bigger ones, if you buy Puma 12, 12, 12, 12, if you can't afford to make, of course, if you can't afford to like come up with automatic drinkers, you can use these. There's no problem. I also know how to make, you know, those automatic drinkers whereby you buy just that's a 1050 liters container, that big one. I know how to make those. So I'll make sure I'll also make a video on those. So for right now, I'm using these. So you can also make this so that you save your money. So thank you guys for watching, and make sure you subscribe so that you watch more videos and more uploads that we put here. Thank you guys. Bye bye.